Hello, welcome to a shopping adventure in Mexico City. Mexico City is quite the diverse shopping milieu. It goes from the very local little shops to the markets to some very ultra-modern, sophisticated malls as well as great department stores. And it has the latest in everything. So let's talk a little bit about the shopping experience. Mexico City was once upon a time what's called an emerging market. As a result, it had a captive audience, and therefore the shopping experience was pretty null. Basically, they considered it a privilege to serve you, and they had no qualms about selling you damaged goods, and basically just not paying attention to you whatsoever. However, in 1994, Mexico signed off the NAFTA, as you well know, and it opened up its economy. It's been a gradual process, but the good news is that the shopping experience has immeasurably improved. A lot of it comes from following what's being done in the States. Nevertheless, it's a very interesting experience. There are still parts and still stores, and including some of the big, beautiful department stores, where there's a vestige of that other culture. But to be honest, they really, really, really are trying hard to improve the shopping experience for you. Nevertheless, there's a couple of things that they could improve, in some cases substantially. So let's see. A lot of the big stores do in fact have open doors. You can just generally walk in and feel pretty comfortable. Problem is, for example, in Sears, in one of the stores in one of the malls, it is an open door, and on the second floor it starts with Pier 1, which is simply fabulous. And it's very welcoming because they've set up the furniture in such a way that it's very colorful and very inviting. It's like walking into your own home. Now the problem is there's not a salesperson in 5 miles to the radius. You pretty much have to look for them and then explain to them that you really want XYZ. Once you've zeroed in on them, they're fabulous. They do help you and they do things. But you have to find them. The color scheme in some stores, some of the new stores that were brought from the States was gray. Horrible choice. Gray absolutely shrinks your soul. Not a good thing to do. Warm colors are fabulous. The second version of the same store, which will go unnamed, much, much better. Much more welcoming on that score, on the score of the colors and the way the displays are set up. Unfortunately, there's not a soul in the store. And somebody told me buzzwords that one of the reasons is that they check to see if you have enough money to be in the store. It's a very high-end type store. That's terrible. Whether it's true or not, the fact that there is a buzzword on the street, radio, in what they call in Mexico, radio chatter, hallway chatter, I guess is the better word. That's terrible. That if you go in, they're going to sort of look you up and down and decide whether you're fit to come into the store. That is absolutely terrible. Another problem with a lot of these high-end stores is that they have very, very, very visible security. There's one street in Mexico which is sort of a very Gucci-Pucci type of place, much like Union Street in San Francisco. And in front of every single store, there is security with armed guards. Well, how does that welcome you to any store? Absolutely doesn't. And in fact, if you look inside the store, there's absolutely nobody. Well, no surprise there. There has to be a way of being secure, especially those high-end stores, without sort of telling the world, beware, do not come in here because we are watching every single one of your moves. That's terrible. That just does not work. It doesn't work for me, and it probably doesn't work for a whole lot of other people. So, next, what happens? You walk into a store and there's noise all over the place. There's one particular store where they're always playing, the video is playing music, the music department is playing music, and the restaurant part of the store is playing its music. The result is a cacophony of noise that's absolutely beyond belief. Very unpleasant. There have been studies made that if you have a pleasant music environment, people linger longer and buy more. There's a reason why Muzak was actually quite a success story. They need to work on keeping the noise level to a point where it's a pleasant experience and not one where you're walking around like this saying, I've got to get out of here, I've got to get out of here, I can't stand this one more second. So, we've covered sort of some of the basics. However, there is one overarching criticism. Shopping, why do you go shopping? At least for me, shopping is an experience. It's something you do quasi-therapeutical, quasi you want to be pampered, quasi you want to make your own decisions and put together your own outfits or just make your own decision, especially if you're under a very high-pressure job that doesn't allow you to make a whole lot of decisions on your own. So what happens? You go into a store, and some stores capture that energy, that fun, that you're there and you just can't wait to just stay there for a while and just enjoy the experience. And a lot of other stores, you really kind of get the sense that they just want to get, quickly, do your cashier, wrap it up, and get you out of there. Problem is, that's exactly what happens. You buy a very expensive suit or item, and they munch it up like this and stick it into a bag. Hello? No. Long time ago, I worked in a boutique, and we would carefully fold everything into this beautiful box with this beautiful tissue with this gold sticker on top. We'd stick it in this beautiful bag and then walk around the counter and personally deliver it to the client. That's gives it, no matter what kind of store you are, upscale, low scale, mid scale, that gives you a whole lot of class. So, what happens? Never, ever, ever, ever start a sale with, can I help you? What happens then? Your defenses are up, and the automatically says, no, I'm just looking around. No. The best way to approach a client is, oh, isn't that a lovely color you're looking at? Are you thinking of combining it with something else? And you start a conversation, a relationship. It helps to have, in the boutique where I was, we had a hot, freshly brewed coffee in the background. That attracted clients like crazy because it was different. They didn't expect it. Well, all those are little tidbits, but there's one major complaint in all stores on telephone client help. There is an incredible, still in Mexico. I have recently, I don't know if this is improved in the States, but in Mexico, there is one thing that is still very galling, and that is the lack of empathy. You make a comment, doesn't matter what, and it's like, plonk. It just goes absolutely nowhere. Wrong. In addition to a smile, which says a million things, really say, oh, is that so? Oh, I too had it, whatever. Just go along with the flow with it instead of putting a face like, what the hell are you talking about? I need to do this sale. And if it's not sale related, I don't want to talk. And in some cases, they actually have timers where they need to make a sale at X time because somebody's timing them and somebody gave them a script, which is absolutely horrible, that they should comply with. Scripts are great to give you an idea of what you should say, but never ever should they be the end-all to everything, especially when a client is trying to establish some kind of rapport with you and actually is trying to enjoy their shopping experience, and you respond with a script which sounds like a script. That's devastating, absolutely devastating. So, first of all, you give the client their space, then you congratulate them on something or make a nice comment about colors, about outfit, or whatever. No pressure, nothing about, in a sense, about sale. And incredibly enough, you'll end up selling a whole lot more. And empathy. I can't underline that enough. Without empathy, the whole rest of the cards in the game all collapse. So that's one of the biggest insights that we can take home from the shopping experience in Mexico. Plus, you need to make it fun. You need to make it dynamic. One of the great new stores is iStore in Mexico. I'm actually taking classes there right now, computing classes and web design, wonderful stuff. And it's incredible because the store itself Doesn't have a whole lot of people in it yet, at least the new one where I go. But the people are very friendly, and anything that you might have in terms of a question about how the equipment works, boy, are they there, and they help you and respond to your questions and try to find the information for you. And behind is their little school that's called EduMac, where you can take all sorts of classes from little modules to, you know, what they call diplomados, which is sort of a shortened version of a career, I suppose. 90 hours worth of instruction. And it worked for me. I got so enthralled with what they were teaching me on these computers that I went out and bought the exact same computer, huge iMac, that this is where I'm talking to you from. So it worked when you're helping the client, when you're educating the client, and there's no pressure. They just help you. And if you want to buy something, obviously they roll out the red carpet. But if you don't, they're cool. Well, that makes you want to buy all the more. So you need to remember that shopping should and is an experience. Make it fun, make it feel dynamic. There's nothing worse than walking into a store where everything is so perfectly laid out. And the salespeople are all standing very proper, very in their little suits and stuff. And you feel like you can't mess with anything. Well, that's not a shopping experience. And one of the reasons there's a group that's called Sarah that is so very out of Spain, that is so very successful these days. It's because you walk in and it's a fun store and they've mixed and matched things and some things aren't perfect, which gives you the chance to go mess around and try to find your size or a different color, and you don't feel guilty that you're messing up their whole display. So that's kind of important too. Anyway, closing off this video, remember empathy is number one. You could take training courses in how to smile, how to treat people. Courtesy goes such a long ways. It really, really, really does. And from there, just make it fun and make it dynamic. Okay, well, here's sayonara. Well, actually, adios from Mexico City. And see you in the next assignment. Cheers. Ciao. Bye.